Welcome to Hangout with Ndi Akan. I know you are still in media, but are you still into broadcasting?
A broadcaster is a broadcaster for life. It's like being a senator.
Exactly.
Yeah, as a senator for life.
Okay. How did you start and how did you get here?
Wow, passion drew us. Listening to BBC from my father's radio set and all the local radio stations drew me closer to the media, and I sat down as a small boy and said, look, I also want my name. My advice, because in sharing stories I always like to share the principles and what people should do and learn from them, is that it's good to build capacity.
Yes.
It's good to build capacity, it's good to serve well, it's good to learn well. I believe in the apprenticeship system. I've said it severally, life is about solving problems.
Yes.
Once you're able to solve problems and attach a value to it, and then it is a problem that people are willing to pay for, you're going to make money. So you're going to have an excellent life.
That's true.
So the first thing is to build capacity.
Hello viewers, welcome to Hangout with Ndi Akan. I am Ndi Akan. On our show today, we have a very special guest. He's going to be the one to introduce himself and do most of the talking. But I'm talking about someone who has done so well in his field. He's a peak performance strategist, an influencer. He's a professional public speaker. I don't want to talk too much so I don't end up saying all that he needs. Let me not expose everything, but I want to tell you he's someone that has ticked a lot of boxes. And I know that we are going to have a very exciting time discussing with him. When we are back from our break, we will unveil that special person that you must listen to if you want to be inspired. Welcome back. So we have our guest in the house today. Oh, I'm so excited to have him on this show. I don't want to mention his name because I want him to be the one to introduce himself. Please, sir, may we know you?
Oh wow, Big Sis, indeed good to be on your show, and I feel very privileged, very special to come on set here. My name is Aniekeme Finbar.
Thank you for coming on the show.
I am male and I identify as
a
male.
male. That's nice.
You know, the way the world has become, some of the things we thought and took for granted, we can no longer take for granted.
Yes,
so
that's right.
We must be very emphatic and specific, and I do many things: a communicator, a journalist, former public servant now, and we always add value, given every opportunity that we have to add value to society. But great to be on your show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aniekeme Finbar, and welcome to Hangout with Ndi Akan. We want to know a little about your childhood. What was your childhood like? And also tell us a bit about the schools you attended.
Oh, well, if I were to tell this story to my children now, I have 3 of them.
Good.
I would consider my childhood very boring. Because of some of the things
Why
that
do you think it
they're
was
currently
boring?
enjoying, we did not enjoy. They asked me about cartoon characters in our own time.
But do you know, sorry to cut you short, do you know that I actually think, I know I'm older than you, but I think we had a more fun-filled childhood because our children are not doing the things we used to do as children. I remember those days, we lived directly opposite our primary school. So once it rains, we run in the rain, we will play. Even when it's not raining, we run in the field. We were catching all manners of butterflies. And then we'll come and sit together to count them. We were playing house, this thing that a child will say, this one is my husband, these are my children. You start cooking, get leaves from the children of these days, they don't even know about that. So for me, I think we had a more exciting childhood.
I think we're in a different age,
yes.
and the realities are different.
Yeah.
I belong to the 1890s age,
yes, okay.
wherein we had a lot of physical activity.
Yeah.
We had a lot of play. We had a lot of physical exchange. Have to play outside, play hide and seek, play all the other games with our siblings and neighbors. And then ultimately wait for 4 p.m. For the electronic media to come on. Of course, that time we had to wait for 4 when the blue ribbons would get on the show.
Color bar.
Ours wasn't a color television, it was black and white. So one person needed to be outside to adjust the antenna to see how many stations we'll be able to get, whether we'll get NTA or one other television station from Equatorial Guinea and all of that. So we had to, play on that and then wait on for what comes up, the announcer announcing the lineup for the day. So childhood was different, but things continue to get updated. So to my childhood, it was basically a three-way traffic. Home, church, and school. There was hardly any room to be anywhere else. Either going to church, and I grew up as a Catholic, so we're engaged as mass servers, we engaged on altar duties with Reverend Fathers, and then later sang in the choir. So you are either there practicing and performing, or you are back home, or it's school hours where you go to school and come back, nursery and primary schools. And again, my mom being a school teacher made us move around a lot. So every time she got transferred, we also moved to a new direction. So we moved local government to local government because of her work. And I think my father then was also a civil servant. So it was a case of them moving to their different posts. Making me attend up to 3-4 nursery schools. Before finally, graduating. And then to secondary school and finally to a tertiary institution. And life just kept on going. But I think what defines that childhood was having a stable home where both parents were intact, involved in a daily discipline. They were very strict, and I think they were even too strict because in some sense it affected our sociality, it affected our social life. They didn't give room for friends, My father would question anyone who came close, was very strict. And folks didn't even like to come because he was like a school teacher. Anytime he came, he would ask you, what's your class? And he would tell you what you're supposed to learn in that class. Even at secondary and university level, he would come to my place and find my course mates and ask them, what course are you studying? You are supposed to do this semester, and then begins to ask you questions. And if you're unable to answer them, he says, look, you're not a serious student. So folks were afraid to meet my dad and all of that. So fantastic man, and the same with mom. But it was an amazing childhood, was stable, was spirit-filled, and I think that groomed us to where we are today. It got further was, I attended a Catholic seminary. It was like a military school. It was like the discipline was high, very intense. You would stay for 3 months and not go near the gate. You would stay for 3 months and you're not allowed provision. You only eat what is presented inside the school compound. We observed what we called maximum silence. From 6 p.m. till after breakfast the next morning, you are not expected to talk to anybody.
Which seminary was that?
It was in Afarabong, in Aba, Queen of Apostles Seminary. It was a different world. So going through there, the extreme discipline, the manual labor, the intensity of academics also prepared us differently for the world that we came to encounter. It gave us generally a beautiful childhood, but what I lost in social life, I've been able to catch up somehow. Having left there. But in all, I think I'm grateful that I had my mentors, my parents, and formators who were able to bring out the best in me, and that has made us who we are today.
Mr. Aniekeme, I can really relate to your story because I came from the same background too, so I really understand what you're talking about. I used to be a Catholic too, from a very staunch Catholic background. My parents behaved the same way you just described yours. In fact, I remember when one of my friends came visiting when I was in secondary school, and she came visiting. Oh my God. I think the only thing that remained for my mom to do was to use broom to sweep that lady out of our house, because she was actually older than me by far. So my mom didn't see why I should, at my age, relate with such a person. She warned her. She doesn't want to her to be my friend, and she should never come back to that compound. So I can really, really relate to what you are talking about right now. But in all, I think that helped in making you
Absolutely.
a better person,
Absolutely.
a more disciplined person that you are today. So some time ago, I think I read on your Facebook timeline where you talked about how you had to leave school before you went back to school. Was that your university?
Yeah, university.
Would you love to share that experience
Oh
with
yeah,
us?
I've shared that severally on different platforms. I've even written a book that captures that. My Facebook, Dare It, Do It, anchored on that story to inspire people to overcome, challenges. I actually started university very early. I think I was in by 16, 17.
Okay.
So it was a restless age where we're trying hands on many things. So I got into broadcasting, got carried away. And in the course of that, I think I missed my final year.
Okay.
I did well from year 1 to year 4, but missed the final year, was not able to catch up again, but eventually dropped out. I read law in that degree program, and that turned things around because it brought in frustration, brought in depression. I was unable to find my feet immediately, having to see your mates proceed to the law school, become lawyers, while you are still trying to sort out what your life would be. But the lesson from there, which I always share with people, is that no matter how perfect you plan your life, there are always, things will not always pan out in a way,
the way you
expected that you had
Yeah.
planned it. So things happen, and the essence is not to blame anybody. Don't blame anybody. You have to blame yourself. You must take responsibility of your situation and ask yourself, what is the way forward? So that's what I did. And the way forward for me was not to find excuses, was to go back to school. So I had to, after years, go again, pick the matriculation exams form. By this time, they now had aptitude tests. I have to take the aptitude test, and then proceeded back. It wasn't an easy thing coming back to the school environment and not find anybody in your age range in class. In fact, the first day I actually sauntered in, the guys thought I was the lecturer. So everyone scampered to their seat and said, come on.
I'm a student just like
I
you.
just walked in quietly and sat down, and after a few seconds, a few guys came to me and said, sir, we are sorry. We're making noise. Can you now go and teach? And I said, hey guys, I'm also one of you.
I'm a student just like you.
And the place erupted in laughter. And
Wow.
it was quite shameful. It was embarrassing, but we continued, and from day 1 to year 1 to the very last year. So the thing with life is that it is good to always take the first step.
Yes.
Take the first step to make the inquiry. Take the first step to make a phone call. Take the first step to find out how much it will cost. There are people who had said, oh, I'm going to learn how to sew this year. They're still procrastinating. There are people who said I was going to pick up a master's form. They're still procrastinating.
Exactly.
Someone said I was going to update on my baking skills. They're still procrastinating. No, you just need to take a first step. And take a step that commits you. The moment I paid for that JAM form was when I got committed, because I knew I had to take the exams. And as long as I took the exams and was given admission, I knew I had to attend. Exactly. So I attended class the first day. I knew I had to attend another day and finish. One commitment links up to another commitment. And before you know it, you are able to, finally achieve a bigger goal. So from that story, I encourage people, and since I started sharing it, I've had amazing testimonies. I've had even top public officials who came and said, look, you don't know what you've done. You've greatly inspired. In fact, one of them said, look, I don't actually have a university degree, but people think I do. And I'm happy to tell you I'm now in year 2, and he updates me every year. And he has finally graduated, in that program. So many people, so many people, and even those who even do not acknowledge. You know, I've had people who've gone to Canada and called me and said, "Look, your day do it story has brought me here every day." So it keeps me excited. It gets me very fulfilled. I'm happy that I was able to find the courage to share that story and inspired people, because I know even at this moment, someone watching must have had maybe 5 carryovers and is asking, okay, what am I going to do? How do I take on life from here? So I'm excited about the fact that a lot of people are hearing and embracing this message of hope, and because life is a journey of hope generally, and we just give God the glory.
Oh, I must say kudos to you, Mr. Aniekeme. You see that step you took? It was really a bold step. So many people could have given up and asked themselves, why would I go back to do first degree? And you know, the funniest thing is that a lot of people get into this problem and they lie to themselves. They don't want to face reality and go back. So I must say kudos to you. Kudos. And appreciate the fact that even after going back to school, you were able to share it. You went up to the point of writing a book, and it has been a great inspiration for a lot of people. Now, I want us to talk about your growth. How did you start in this profession that you are into? Okay, let me ask, are you still into, I know you are still in media, but are you still into broadcasting?
A broadcaster is a broadcaster for life. It's like being a senator.
Exactly.
You're addressed as senator for life.
Okay. So how did you start and how did you get here? What and who inspired you to get to the level that you are? Because you are really an inspiring story to a lot of us.
Wow, passion drew us. Listening to BBC from my father's radio set, and all the local radio stations drew me closer to the media. And I sat down as a small boy and said, look, I also want my name to be mentioned there. And in those days, there were no calling programs where you can dial into a radio station. But as things started improving and independent producers got on air, okay, I remember on BBC, they used to send letters and mails, I think later text messages. So every day I would text the BBC, and I was excited. One day they read my message on BBC. I was so excited, and you know, having to text in mean I had to do research. I had to follow the stories. I had to know what was going on, and to text in. And then a great gentleman called Michael Bush started his Bush House presentations, and I followed the program religiously. In fact, I harassed him on the program. Every edition of the program, I would send in messages, I'll contribute, until one day he had to announce on the air, who is this Finbar guy? I want to meet him. He had to announce generally that I should find a way and see him. And the long story short, I saw him, and then we started a fan club for the program, and ultimately translated into being on the show, and then radio, television, AKBC, moved to Abuja, managed programs for Bush House Nigeria. From there, joined a local radio station in Abuja, Love FM, as on-air personality, sports editor. Then I got back home. I think then my father's health wasn't too good. And eventually, I got engaged by the former deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State as her official compere and media assistant. Okay, that led us into government house. So subsequently, I worked for the last 2 governors of Akwa Ibom State as a member of their information management team and media aid and advisor. So it's been on that flow until I recently resigned as aide to the governor on social orientation to focus on my private consultancy. That has also, I thought I'll be less busy, has also kept us very engaged and very busy, and what the future holds is absolutely amazing.
I saw that resignation online, and I was like, why would Aniekeme do this? Because to me, you were doing very well. But I thank God that you did not resign to go back home and sit still. You are still inspiring. You are still doing greater things. So though you have told us that you've been busy since you resigned, I still want you to tell us a little more about life as someone who is working for himself. AMD of his own company. How has it been compared to when you were a media aide to the governor?
My advice, because in sharing stories, I always like to share the principles and what people should do and learn from them, is that it's good to build capacity.
Yes.
It's good to build capacity. It's good to serve well. It's good to learn well. I believe in the apprenticeship system. And that's why the Igbo apprenticeship system is adjudged to be the best business model that has turned out millionaires and billionaires in naira and in dollars.
That's true.
Because it's a model that allows you to learn. You learn mechanically, you learn manually, you learn on the job, you learn practically. And when you learn under such a model, you would know what you've learned. And so my career journey has been about learning. It's been about harnessing solutions to problems, meaning that even if you drop me in the Sahara Desert without clothes, I'm going to manufacture stuff out. I can never be frustrated.
That's it.
I mean, at the risk of sounding boastful, I can never stay without weaving out solutions to life problems, because I've said it severally, life is about solving problems.
Yes.
Once you're able to solve problems and attach a value to it, and then it is a problem that people are willing to pay for, you're going to make money. So you're going to have an excellent life.
That's true.
So the first thing is to build capacity and to undergo a mentorship system. So I was able to do that over the years. And the importance of social capital is also key.
Important.
Knowing people, building relationships, and being able to harness those contacts have been very key.
Yeah.
And that's what I live on. That's what I've been able to, translate on very effortlessly, very seamlessly to working. What I'm passionate about is to see an individual and an organization get better. And I've translated that into a product, into a value, into a service, in that my company serves to give peak performance to an individual. I see you as an individual, I diagnose you, and I tell you what to do, and I tell you keys to, pathways to go. And there is no way you apply our formula and do exactly as we've said that you won't see new results. And organizations have already tested that, and it's been amazing. So we have teaching models, we have master classes, and we also go out to different companies and organizations to do tailor-made professional services for them. Recently, I'm just back from Port Harcourt, where we spoke with a geospatial company and an oil servicing company. We were able to diagnose the company, and we came out with solutions on how to drive productivity within the organization. So what I thought would be a small thing has snowballed into something big. And there are many things in the offing. There are more books we're going to churn out. There are more materials we're going to churn out. There are more courses we're going to churn out. So many things in the work. So people are inboxing you every day, asking for different help. So the more the market throws up its own peculiar problems, the more you find solutions to it. And it is something that they are not looking for free. It's something they are willing to pay because it appeals to them, because that's the direction that they are going. And it's been absolutely amazing. We're still going to work for people in future. Everything is now tailored to needs and basis and how that fits into our agenda. So if we find a corporation that still needs our services, we continue to offer them and find a way that it doesn't stop us from servicing the society that gives us a lot of joy and fulfillment to do so. So at Consults Limited, we're absolutely verifying, and we'll continue to add value to society.
This is very interesting, Mr. Finbar. I want to ask, please, what's the name of your company?
Finbar Consults Limited. From my name.
Finbar Consults Limited. Wow. This is an amazing story. Sometimes last year, I saw on your profile very beautiful pictures of you and a lot of people from different races, different countries, different tribes, touring the whole of the United States of America. And I was like, wow. Can you tell us what that was all about, and how you got nominated to go for that program? I know it was like a kind of a professional fellowship thing. Yeah.
It was an amazing experience to just sit down and receive a mail from the American Embassy in Nigeria, nominating me as a global leader.
Did you apply for it?
I did not apply for it.
Oh
and
my
how
God.
they got to me, I wouldn't exactly tell. But it shows that in whatever you are doing, people are watching, systems are watching.
That's it.
And it's just good to be at your best and just showcase the best of what you are. And so I got invited to join the International Visitors Leadership Program, which is the flagship exchange program of the U.S. Department of State. It's been like an open secret because it's been on up to more than 80 years. And
80.
you wouldn't know. 80. It's been
Jesus.
amazing. So every year, up to 5,000 different global leaders go to the United States under different sectors to have an exchange. The essence is that the United States invests this much to help you come over to America and have an exchange with their systems, with their professionals, with their organizations, so that you are able to tap.
Now you mentioned exchange program.
Yes.
I think I remember that my husband went for that program before he married me.
Okay.
The same year we met in 1989. He was just coming back from that exchange program. Now you mentioned exchange, it just dropped.
Yeah,
okay.
and there's so many exchange programs for different professionals, like Fulbright that targets teachers and scholars. So many. There are over 30, in fact, countless number of programs. Some target students, some target sportsmen, some target musicians, some target engineers, ICT experts. They are enormous. So in our court, we're able to go on that fellowship. It was amazing. In my court, I had people from 22 countries.
Wow.
Across all continents come together, the intercultural exchange, and then visiting several American, mine was a media fellowship. It was called the Edward Murrow, R. Murrow Fellowship.
Okay.
So went to at least 7 different cities in 5 states and interacted. If I'm to sit down and talk about this fellowship, it will be an entire new program.
An entire day.
So, from the Voice of America to the Cartoon Library at Ohio State University to several places, over 8, 9 universities, and just interacting with top professionals and enormous knowledge. I would need an entire lifetime to dispense the knowledge that fellowship brought, but it also qualified me for future grants within the American space. So I won one. Last year, it was called the Impact Award Grant. That gave me the enablement to train 60 journalism students drawn from 3 tertiary institutions in Akwa Ibom State. In journalism, I was able to tap contacts from the people I had received the enormous knowledge from across the world to also speak to them, to inspire them in ethical journalism, in content creation, blogging, and the rest of the other aspects that I know there is a gap within our system that is not addressed within the university curriculum. So it was very impactful for them, and several other projects within that space, having qualified, to be in that space, to be able to share ideas and get funded to get those projects done. So, and again, winning that Impact Award also opened me up to another large space, because it was a contest of up to thousands of people, but we were only 120 who won from 101 countries. So I now have colleagues in 101 countries that we get to interact daily and share our projects and our visions. So imagine being on a Zoom meeting and different languages, Spanish interpretations, English, French, Arabic, and the rest. So it gives you a global view of things that are happening in other places and how their own problems are peculiar to us and different in some other way. So that makes us global citizens to be able to tap knowledge and continue to improve our local society.
Mr. Finbar, you can go on and on and on, honestly. I am so happy that you did not just go attend that program and come back and not impact lives. I'm glad that that program has helped you to impact a lot of many other people. So I want to ask, your upbringing and everything has helped you to get to the level where you are. We discovered that these days our young people seem to like quick way of making money. They don't believe in growth. And personally, I believe that when you do grow to get to the level that you make it or you become successful, if you just blow overnight, you are going to bust. That's what I believe. So what do you think we can do to encourage our young people to be passionate about building their capacity, growing gradually, going step by step before they get to the place of success?
I encourage millennials and Gen Z, as they are called, amazing people. I think they're smarter than some of us are who are older. I think they're better prepared for a fast-moving society, but that also comes with its own peculiar challenges. They live in an age of instant messaging, instant browsing, even instant noodles.
Instant everything.
So everything is instant. And,
Yes.
the patient level, the procedural level is not really part of their culture. But we still need to encourage them that life is about processes and things are not going to happen overnight. There are certain dues that you have to pay. Otherwise, if you arrive at those destinations without paying the dues, you would still have to pay the dues.
You still have to go
directly
back
or indirectly
and start all over.
through there. So my advice is that first, every young person should take responsibility for their actions. You are responsible for where you are. I hear people say, oh no, I wasn't able to do this because I had a poor background. I wasn't able to do this because my parents didn't do this. I wasn't able to do this because my uncles didn't do this. The world system is not structured to take excuses.
At all.
It is structured for results.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're applying for a job, it's what you write on your CV that your employers are going to take. They're not going to take the fact that you were not able to have a certification, you were not able to go to university, you were not able to get that skill. What is on that CV are your results. You can't walk into a restaurant and say, I'm very hungry, but if my uncle had sent me to school, I would have had enough money
to buy
food. So the world is structured to accept results. Excuses do not matter. So the first thing that you need to do is to take responsibility for wherever you are, irrespective of who was at fault. It doesn't matter who was at fault. It is now your fault.
You must
and
take
when you accept that responsibility, you'll be more propelled to take action. In fact, I think from the age of 30, you can no longer complain about your background. You are now the background. You
are now to build your own background.
About the background. You are now the background because you are, at that age, probably you have a son. So the son is referring to your background. And you can no longer continue to give excuses that your parents didn't do this or this so-and-so person did this or offended you. So it implies taking responsibility and then a continuous life of improvement, a continuous life of adding value, a relentless approach to ensuring that you are better than the person that you were yesterday. And many young people also get very depressed because of the social media, that they see too many flamboyant things. The pop culture throws up a culture where you have people drive Benz, where you have people live in big houses, where you have people have access to so much money that they cannot explain. So you see that there is a rise in ritual killing, there's a rise in criminality, there's a rise in so many vices, including the one they call Yahoo Plus and drugs and so many things that people think that they can venture in and make money overnight. Life does not work that way. Life ought not to be that way. Life goes through the tenets of hard work and passion, and it brings results. It doesn't just bring instant results, it brings long-lasting results. Give the kidnapper a few more years and see what his life would be. Give the drug dealer a few more years and see what his life would be. Give anyone who is making money through illegal means a few more years and you see who their lives would be. I'm not disputing the fact that they are making it. I'm not disputing the fact that they have money. But my advice is that this steady way is the better way. The way of the fear of the Lord, the way that gives credence to nature and all the values and ethics that were taught growing up, I think is the more surest path to growth. So I enjoin our people, take advantage of this social media space. There are many things to learn on YouTube. How to sew clothes, how to bake, how to do this.
In fact, makeup,
all you need is to type how to, whatever you want to find out, and you'll see amazing
Once you
results.
Type how to, the options will come out,
yes,
will pop up.
So instead of spending your entire time, because this is an entertainment crazy generation, They love comedy, they love skits, they love short videos, they love things that make them laugh. But you cannot waste your destiny watching only those things. You should commit those times to improving yourself.
Exactly.
There are many amazing internet sites like Coursera that are offering free courses that can help you to upgrade, that can, boost your skills, that can help your worldview, and that can help you to assess more opportunities, whether it's in cinematography or it's in ICT or it's in agriculture. There are many things that can help you. So I enjoin young people to continue to improve themselves. That's how to fit into the world that is emerging in front of them.
That's very correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Finbar. On a lighter note, I want to ask, when you went for the US tour thing, I saw some Africans amongst you people.
Yeah.
Did you have people from South Africa, from Ghana, from our other fellow Africans? What was their reception of you? Did they warm up to you as a Nigerian?
Amazingly, in my initial fellowship, I had two great Africans, a lady from Uganda and a young man from South Sudan.
Okay.
They were so amazing. They were great. They were called professionals. They were not as noisy as myself because
because you're a Nigerian.
Even the rest of my colleagues admitted that, come on, your energy is big and loud. I'm the kind of person,
You're Nigerian.
For instance, the culture shock,
Yeah.
having some of the Arabic people, some not taking handshakes,
No.
some not taking side hugs, and not accepting different from my own culture. I tried to explain to them, it's not an offense where I come from, but I respect your boundaries, but you have to also accept the fact that we're very sociable people.
Yes.
Once there is a Nigerian in the room, you have to hear that there is a Nigerian in the room.
That's
so
true.
we have that in quotes dominating spirit. Wherever we are, we occupy.
We take charge.
We take charge, and even our parties are loud.
Yeah.
So like I think in Florida they said there's a Nigerian having a party somewhere. I think it was a Yoruba person, and of course
You can
tell.
trust.
You can trust the Yoruba party to be very loud and large. So,
You can trust.
I've interacted with a couple of Africans, and I think the misconception sometimes they have of us, we will continue to correct them. It comes from where we come from. We come largely from a country where nothing works. We are our own government.
Yes.
We provide our roads. We provide our electricity.
Our light.
We
Everything.
provide everything for ourselves. So sometimes we tend to fight when there is no fight, because we all grew up fighting the things that ought to be naturally there. So it affects our default mode. Our default mode is to fight first before we discover that what we're trying to fight is actually the norm. So I think that affects it affects our mentality moving into the global space, in that we question first before we accept what's there. So the Nigeria, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and the rest of the other small conflict, I just call them small brotherly conflicts, will continue to be there.
We continue to understand ourselves.
Yes, I think the
move
more
on
we
as
understand
Africans.
ourselves, we just see
Yes.
our unique peculiarities, met with Kenyans, Rwandans, and they are so wonderful. They are so amazing,
Wow.
hospitable, nice
Wow.
people, and very straightforward people. And I think we need to continue the African. There's no much collaboration in Africa. Even transportation flights are so expensive.
Yeah,
Now,
to
South
other
Africans
African
don't visit
countries.
other African
Yes.
countries. Ask
Very
an average
expensive.
Nigerian, which other African country
Have you gone to?
Even nearby Cameroon or Ghana or Chad, we don't interrelate
Yes,
like that
that's true.
because of and we're supposed to even have same currencies. We're supposed to have a lot of things that should bind us in common. The same way you have a Schengen visa and you're able to
go to
crisscross
all
all European
European
countries and all of that. But I think in future we'll be able to. The more we have that interaction, I think some of the misconceptions will be cleared. But we are one Africa, and we'll continue to stay one.
Wow, it's been an interesting journey with you, Mr. Finbar. You mentioned that you have 3 beautiful children. Are you married?
Yes, I'm married. married to my girlfriend. I was blessed with 3 amazing children.
Oh, wow.
And as at the time of this recording, one will be 5 this month.
Oh, wow.
And that's a signal that production had ended. And,
the last one?
That's the very last one. That's the last one.
So don't be too sure.
I am absolutely
Anything
sure.
can happen even after 10
I'll pray
years.
to the God of heaven to help me shut down that door. So that we can continue.
So you'll be able to take better care of them.
To improve them and continue to add value.
The first thing that attracted me to you years ago was when I noticed that you are a child of God. That was the first thing. I think your church was going on a rally. You had a program and you led that rally, and I was like, wow, I love it a lot when I see young men who love God. So I want to ask, on a final note, what has your journey with God been like?
Amazing journey. God is everything. God, in Him we live and move and have our being. I know we live in a generation that there is a constant debate as to, do you really need God to succeed? And I won't go into that debate because it will be endless.
Yes.
But it's an experience. Once you've experienced God, once you've met God, once you have understood God, you would enjoy Him better. And I think that we should carry. No, that's not the right way to put it. Carrying God along. No, we can't carry God.
God is
we should make God an integral part of our lives because it's amazing.
Yes.
It's just amazing. It makes everything sweet. Having the Holy Spirit as your partner to guide you, to direct you, to comfort you, to inspire you. That's why I stay joyful always. No matter what happens, you can never catch me not being joyful. Not as of emotion, but as a principle.
Yeah.
Principle that it is only with joy that you can draw waters from the wells of salvation. And Paul says, in all these things we count it all joy. So whatever happens, I encourage people to encounter our Lord Jesus Christ, to be born again, to read the Bible, know the Bible for themselves. There's a lot of confusion going on.
Yes.
And just continue to enjoy our Lord Jesus Christ and win other people into this kingdom. We are ambassadors of God's kingdom. So whatever I am, whatever I'll ever be, it is through our Lord Jesus Christ, and I am proudly identified with the Lord Jesus. No matter what the controversies are, no matter what the trending topics are, Jesus was the in thing, is the in thing,
and
will continue to be the in thing for all generations. He is permanently trending.
Yes.
He is permanently in vogue.
Yes.
He is permanently in fashion.
Yes, that's
He
true.
is permanently going to be relevant as far as the world is concerned.
Yes.
And so it's Jesus for us and nothing else. And I encourage people, continue the good old practices. Go to church, join a department, serve, enjoy God, and see Him just glide you along life very, very successfully.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Finbar.
Thank you
for finding time to be our special guest today. On behalf of my team, I want to say thank you for coming, and God bless you. And so, our viewers, that's where we are drawing the curtain today on our interview with Mr. Finbar. I hope you really enjoyed yourself during this program, because I've really had a wonderful time. To our young people, I want to say, please, let the story of Mr. Finbar inspire you to become a better you. It's very important that you build your capacity. You go through the processes that you need to go through before your arrival, because when you keep going for quick money, quick wealth, it will not last. You will always find yourself back, and then you begin to struggle up again. Remember, it is better to move from grass to grace than to drop from grace to grass. Thank you for being with us today. God bless you. Bye.